Hello Mixtapers, it's Wednesday and I am sitting on the floor. Today I'm going to be touching up on some of the work that Raven did, teaching yourself guitar, and I'm also going to be talking a little bit about keys, which is kind of what Paul covered in his video yesterday. I'm going to be talking about guitar tuning. This is a guitar. If you didn't know, then you're probably either not a guitarist or you're just plain doing it wrong. Now the standard way that people tune guitars is in standard tuning, which is E, A, D, G, B, E. That's E, A, D, G, B, E. And with a simple chord structure, that becomes an E chord. Now the reason people choose this tuning over most others is probably just down to luck. It's just the tuning that became most successful. There's pretty easy chord shapes, E to A, G is quite easy, D is easy, C is easy. Bar chords, I don't play bar chords right, but they're quite easy too. But you'd be naive to think that that was the only way you could tune your guitar. For instance, if you just turn this one down, you get drop D tuning. Which gives a whole different sound to the guitar. When you retune the strings on a guitar, it changes not only the pitch of the individual string, but it also changes how all the strings produce the sound together. So beyond drop D, another tuning that I like to use is a tuning known as Dadgad, which is close to open D. Dadgad is exactly what it sounds like. It's D-A-D, G-A-D. It's drop D. And then if you place your finger on the second fret of the G string, you can tune down to an A. And then the fifth fret on that A string is the D. D, A, D, G, A, D. And the advantage of this tuning is that chords are even simpler, but only in a certain key, in this case obviously in the key of D. For example, in Dadgad, the D chord requires one finger on the second fret of the G string. An open D chord. Now in a similar way to putting a capo on a guitar, changing the tuning changes the sound of the chords. For example, a G in standard tuning sounds like this. And a G in Dadgad tuning sounds like this. Dadgad is a tuning that's used a lot in folk music. It's got a really deep sound, and the repeated D notes create a bit of a drone, which acts as a sort of rhythm section for an acoustic guitar on its own. Here's a little something I'm writing on the acoustic guitar in Dadgad tuning at the moment. What tuning you use for a song is up to you, in much the same way as whether you play it with a capo on 3rd or 5th fret. The two tunings that I've spoken about today are not the only two tunings out there, and the only reason I found out about Dadgad is because I saw someone playing in it, asked them about it, and then Googled it. If you want to find interesting tunings, then that's literally all you got to do. Go straight onto Google, hit in guitar tunings, and read to your heart's content. Speaking from the point of view of someone who writes most of their songs using the same 4 chord shapes, it's a useful tool to help shake things up once in a while. Paul, your comedic comment about Christmas and the shopping period that we find ourselves drawing ever nearer to had me thinking, and I'd like to know what's the most musical thing on your Christmas wish list. I'm going to have to go with either a USB preamp or a MIDI controller keyboard. Hopefully you guys can be a bit more interesting than I can be. Anyway, JB, I'll see you tomorrow.